Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Wanderlust Rendezvous. After a bit long gap, I'm back and continuing from where I stopped. This is the 13th video on the Thailand series. In this video, I'm going to take you through the ruins of Ayutthaya. Founded in 1350, Ayutthaya became the second capital of Siamese after Sukhothai. Wat Phra Mahathat was a royal temple of the Ayutthaya Kingdom. It is one of the oldest and most significant temples in the history of Ayutthaya, as it housed the Buddha's holy relic. Wat Mahathat was built on the edge of Ayutthaya's royal palace and would have been one of the capital's most important temples, used by kings and other senior officials. In the southeast corner of the temple complex, you will find one of the most iconic images at Wat Mahathat and possibly in all of Ayutthaya. The head of a Buddha statue that was placed here decades ago appears to be embraced by the roots of a tree which are entwined around it. Where the main road is today, there once would have been a canal that brought worshippers by boat. From this entrance, a beautifully decorated pathway led through the center of the temple complex to a staircase with railings resembling the mythical serpent like Naga and up to the central prang. The temple was constructed in 1374 by King Bromo Ratchatirath I. Countless images of Buddha lined the gallery, which was at the time covered with a wooden roof. The prang, once about 50 meters high, has been destroyed twice, most recently in the early 1900s, and has only been partially restored. In 1956, archaeologists discovered a hollow stone pillar within the prang that contained a small stupa with relics, gold and bronze artifacts. The central prang, standing on an elevated platform at the center of the temple, represents Mount Meru, the center of the universe surrounded by oceans. On the other side of the central prang stands the Ubasot, the hall where novices were ordained into monkhood. Smaller than the Vihan Luang, it connects to the gallery in east. Wat Mahathat was renovated several times during the period of Ayutthaya Kingdom, and there are some examples of early Ayutthaya art around the main prang. However, much of what you are able to see it from the later Ayutthaya period, including the stupa at the rear of the site, which features lotus leaves at the bottom of the bell shape. The temple was constructed in 1374 by King Bromo Ratchatirath I. A large prang was built to enshrine Buddha relics. The prang collapsed in the early 17th century, after which it was restored and enlarged. A large number of vihans and chedis have been added during the reign of later kings. It is here that Buddha relics would have been housed, along with other important treasures of the kingdom, and important royal ceremonies and celebrations would have been held at the temple. A Buddha statue at the back of Wat Mahathat with the remains of the main stupa in the background. When Burmese invaded and largely destroyed Ayutthaya in 1767, the Wat Mahathat was set on fire. The hall is surrounded by 8 Sema stones that mark the sacred area of the Ubasot. East of the central prang stands the main assembly hall, the Vihan Luan connecting to the gallery in the west. Its main entrance was east towards the rising sun. 2 rows of pillars supported to the roof of the 40-meter-long building. The principal Buddha image sat on a pedestal in the back of the Vihan facing east. Today its elevated base and some sections of the walls with false windows remain. Attractions in this Wat includes remains of important old buildings such as pagodas, octagonal pagodas, royal hall and small temples. I am now walking across a nicely landscaped area with a small lake in the center. This former marshy area in the center of Ayuthaya Historical Park is called Wat Phra Mahathat, named after the Wat Phra Mahathat in its vicinity. Wat Phra Mahathat Park contains the larger temples such as Wat Mahathat, Wat Rajaburana and Wat Phra Mahathat on its banks, and many smaller ruins and structures. Across the lake is Wat Phra Mahathat, a nice little temple with a distinct Khmer-style prang. The exact time of its construction is not known, as the various chronicles of Ayutthaya give different timings. The oldest version, the Luang Prasat, written during the late Ayutthaya era, states its establishment in 1369. The Luang Prasat version tells us that Wat Phra Mahathat was the first constructed temple at the time of King Bodhi I passed away. It is believed that Wat Phra Mahathat was constructed on the funeral pyre of King Bodhi I. Walking through this historical site, I often wondered why so many such temples. Robert Hayne Geldern explained in his Conceptions of State and Kingship in Southeast Asia that the religious merit acquired in the previous lives makes a man born a king or makes him acquire kingship during his lifetime. Merit was thus a political legitimacy. The more merit was accrued in building temples and offering valuables, the more legitimacy for the king or the king to be was endowed. The whole kingship is about the possession of great religious merit. Central to Buddhism, but especially to Theravada, is the acquisition of ban or the merit. The concept of merit was based on the law of karma and was in fact the basis for the Theravada kingship. Constructing a temple was regarded as highly meritorious and the deed that brought the most merit. By donating the site to the monkhood, the king could acquire merit simultaneously, as he showed his reverence for his predecessor or royal ancestor. To deposit the remains of a former king inside a prang or chedi would also ensure his eventual rebirth as a Buddha. The history of the Wat Phra Sanphet spans several centuries. The first structures were built during the 14th century. It starts halfway the 14th century when Wuthong, first king of Ayutthaya, built several chedis on the site near the royal palace. In 1491, King Bodhi II built two large chedis to enshrine the ashes of his father and older brother. Several years later, the king had a 50-meter-long vihan built east of the chedis to enshrine a large gilded image of Buddha named Phra Sanphet. The temple then got its present name. That's all for today. See you all soon in the next episode.